Is Scotland headed for abortion up to birth in 2026? Towards the end of last year, the Scottish Government commissioned a panel of experts to review Scotland's abortion laws and make recommendations for change. This panel, composed entirely of pro-abortion voices, made some very startling recommendations indeed in November. They put forward the complete decriminalisation of abortion for women. This would mean that a woman could order pills by post and self-abort at any gestation, right up until the moment of birth. And because the panel also proposes that they scrap the concealment of birth laws, she could dispose of that baby's remains as well and face no legal consequences. Moreover, under the current 24-week limit, they plan to scrap the 2-doctor sign-off process. A woman could get an abortion signed off by a nurse or a midwife. And after 24 weeks, they propose relaxing the laws around late-term abortion so drastically that it would in effect legalise abortion up to birth in NHS-funded clinics as well as at home. They're going to do this by saying that you can have an abortion for social circumstances as late as the 3rd trimester, not just for life-limiting conditions for the baby or the mother. Worse still, doctors and nurses would no longer be able to conscientiously object. They would be contractually obliged to provide abortion services, even against their most ardent religious or moral objections. There would be no more mandatory counselling for women, and sex-selective abortions would be de facto legal, because, they say, sex-selective abortion doesn't happen in Scotland anyway. Perhaps someone should tell them about the United Nations Population Fund, who have found that across the world, 1.2 million babies are aborted every year simply because they are girls. Or that the World Bank has found that this pandemic of sex-selective abortion has resulted in increased sex trafficking, increased abuse, and increased forced marriage. Scotland, don't let these recommendations become law. The government's current plan is to implement them before the election in May. It would put Scotland among the most liberal and extreme countries in the world when it comes to abortion law. Stand with us. Go to cbruk.org/join us and stand up for the vulnerable. Stand up for the unborn. And don't let this terrible change come into effect in our great country.